What up? This is Robert Horry.
Horry, three-pointer. Buries it!
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
What is going on, Big Shot Bob?
Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. I like
Another
it.
day.
We're in the thick of it, man. We're in the thick of the conference finals. Well, we're not really in the thick of it anymore. We're on the brink of both of them ending.
Exactly.
We're not in the thick of anything. It is the Big Shot Bob podcast, by the way. That's B-Dog Brandon Harper. My name's Rob Jenners. That is 7-time NBA champion Robert Horry, who's been to his share of conference finals. But yeah, no, we're these things might just be over. This thing might be done. Damn, what we got? Was it Game 5 tonight?
Yeah.
Of the West. So OKC might shut this thing down. I mean, again, I don't know, dude. Where do you want to start? You want to start in the East or you want to start in the West?
Let's start in the West since we got a West game.
Go ahead. We got a West game tonight, Game 5. OKC's up 3-1. Barring the Wolves doing something bananas, it looks like this thing might be over tonight. They've been good games with the exception of Game 3, which was Minnesota destroyed them by 42.
Mm-hmm.
They've been good games. I'll tell you, the Thunder have done something that no team in NBA history has ever done. Winning a playoff game by 40-plus points and then losing a playoff game by 40-plus points in the same postseason.
That's crazy.
That's a weird one. That's my weird. That's my weird Western Conference stat. So, how much of this have you watched? All of this? Are you up? I mean, I've been trying to watch as much as I can, but
I've been trying to watch as much as I can also, and I it's amazing how when you're on the brink of going down, 3-0, you have all that energy, and you look at this Minnesota team, and you look at Game 4, the way Randall and Ant-Man played. You would have thought, let's say, we just want to get one win. Let's go home for the summer. Because those dudes, it's like, listen, your strength, the two of you have the same strengths. You can beat the shit out of people when you go to the hole. And they refuse to fucking do that. They just want to sit and shoot jump shots and think that, it's going to fall. The law of averages is going to fall. No, dude, get to the damn hole. You see what Shai Gilgeous is doing. You see he's getting to the line. Why can't you do the same? Because you're a superstar just like Shai, even though he's the MVP. And you say, hey, listen, I'm the face too. Give me the same calls, but they refuse to do that. I just don't understand it. I don't know if that's on the player or on the coach, because there's a disconnect on how you played during the season where you were one of the best players. I'm talking about last season, not this season, because I didn't like the way Ant-Man played at all this season. On how you play.
Well, early in the season, he was all over the place. We talked about that. But it seemed like late, like the last 2 months, All-Star break forward, that he kind of brought it back around to what he was doing right the previous couple of years. And now we hit the postseason, and to your point, it's changed again.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Oh,
He's become a jump shot.
who was that said? I don't know if somebody said it up here or I heard it somewhere else. That said the worst possible thing that could have ever happened to Ant-Man was him realizing that he can knock down threes.
That wasn't me that said that. But somebody...
I don't think that was us.
But regardless, it's true.
It's a good point, though. Yeah.
And it's not that he can't knock it down. It's the simple fact that that's where he wants to live and die. As athletically gifted as he is, to be 23, 24 years old and to have the level of athleticism that you have, and we know the way that he can attack the basket because we've seen him dunk on plenty of people. We've seen him take plenty of guys to the baptismal pool.
Oh, sure.
But somehow, for some reason, he wants to sit up there and chunk up threes. And don't even get me started on Julius Randle. Don't even get me started on Julius Randle. Y'all know how I feel.
I feel like we need to talk about Julius Randle.
Y'all know how I feel about that fool chunking up threes. No. I already think he plays too much like a guard anyway. I've always said I think he gets his game confused. I think he thinks he's something that he's not. Not that he's not a dynamic player, but I think he's playing as if he is some type of two guard. Sorry, brother, that ain't what you are. No matter how much you want to masquerade as that and what whoop-de, I don't care. That ain't your job. I think he needs to play more with his back to the basket, and he has to have more of a bully ball mentality. I always said he should be a more athletic Zach Randolph. To me, that's what I think his game should be. Just chunking up threes and just want to pull up with a jump shot. But there have been plenty of times I'm like, what the hell you take that? Why did you take that shot? There's some shots that Ant-Man takes. I'm kind of like, okay, he shouldn't have taken it, but I can understand him taking them. But you taking this shot? Absolutely not, bro. Absolutely not. And that's the reason why the Timberwolves are what they are. They are very inconsistent.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can't, I don't understand for the life of me why they can't understand that taking the ball to the basket is not a schematic thing. It's not a team-specific thing. That's a basketball one-on-one thing. And you have the athleticism to do it. But everybody on that team want to be Steph Curry for some reason. Well, Steph Curry's sitting home right now, too.
Yeah.
As much as respect that I have for him, that it's not all his fault, but he's sitting at home, too. And guess what? They can move over and make some room for Minnesota, too, because that's exactly where they're going to be sitting on the couch.
But you know what's weird about that game? If I sat here and I tell y'all, Minnesota bench scored 55 points. You say, oh, they beat the brakes off of them.
Right.
Yeah.
You think about that. Their bench gave them 55 points, I think it was. And your starters was like, oh, shit, thank you, bench. Well, we just going to put our hands behind it. Like, can you carry us? It was just, I don't know, man. It's like, that's one of the reasons I cannot be a coach, because you got to, you talk about analytics, you talk about analyzing the game. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the game like, yo, this shit ain't working. All right, yo, get in his ear. Say, yo, go to the hole, go to the free throw line, get us some buckets that way. Old school way. Who's saying that? It's like, okay, sometimes we always look at the last game and say, okay, this is going to be a repeat of last game. Every game is fucking different. In the playoffs, you got your superstars that are always going to step up, but when you get the other guys to come out and get 20 points, that means you should win. That means your superstars didn't do their job. If you got guys who contributed 20 points, you got two guys off the bench scored 20-plus points.
Yeah.
That's a fucking win.
It should be.
It got to be a win, unless someone got hurt. And I just think, I don't know if it's coaching, like I said, or it's the players, but there's a disconnect on what they see and what they put on the court. That's why I love Indiana. Carlisle, to me right now, is the best coach left outside of maybe the OKC coach. But I'm watching him. He'll bring the guys in and say, hey, I'm making subs. Okay, this ain't working. You think about Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant was like, yo, man, you didn't give me what we need. I'm going to go with this guy who was on a 10-day. On a 10-day, we're going to play him. So that shows to me that that's coaching. That's trusting your players. And giving, like, when you're a coach and you say, okay, I'm going to throw you out there to the fire, that gives him confidence. And now he's going to reward the whole team by playing good. But this Minnesota team and the way they walked off the court, you know they're going to get blasted tonight.
Yeah.
They're going to get blasted because they were defeated.
It's
big
over
time.
It's not about, and yes, you still got to play the game and anything can happen. But to me, where I am right now, with them being down 3-1 and having to go back to OKC, this isn't about if they're going to lose. It's just about how much. And it's going to look bad. And this is a better day than any day for Ant-Man and Julius Randle to kind of continue to keep their team on some form of life support. You know, if you want to continue to extend this series and get this thing back to Minnesota in Game 6, hey, prolong this thing as much as you possibly can. Best case scenario, get this to a Game 7, something that nobody thought you could possibly do based off where you are right now.
Yeah.
But the way we're looking at it, hey, dog, might as well go ahead and take your last breaths, because when you wake up, Cancun, what's the other on the other side of Mexico, underneath California?
Tijuana?
San
Tijuana, wherever you want to go.
Now, I'm going to challenge Charles Barkley. We're sending them to Galveston.
Fine.
The dirty ass water in Galveston.
St. Bart, St. Lucia,
No, ain't going
wherever.
anywhere. No, not the way they play.
That when you wake up, that's where you all will be, depending on where you want to take your folks, because you won't be playing basketball.
Rob, to your point about the starters in Game 4, Anthony Edwards in Game 4, 13 shots. That's all he got off in Game 4, 13 shots. He was the all-time leading scorer in Game 4s, with a minimum of 5 games played, with 34.9 points until Monday night. So all of a sudden, he just went completely missing in Game 4, which I think he talked about it a little bit too in the locker room. They were asking him kind of like, how did you feel about this? And he just said, I didn't have opportunities. I just didn't get enough shots off. And I'm like,
but I do want
opportunities.
I do want to credit OKC. Let me
they've made it hard.
Let me credit OKC because when you start talking about the way that they've just literally just locked Ant down at times, where he can't even free himself. Regardless of what kind of defense they're throwing at him, whether it be a boxing one or whatever, they are really making it difficult for him. This is where coaching comes in. You have to find a way to schematically get him open. And that's where the coaching comes in. Now, attacking the basket and things of that nature, I think that's a player problem because you got to realize you got to stop getting so ingratiated and shooting jump shots, especially when they're not falling. At some point in time, you got to say, okay, let me take this thing to the basket. But when you start talking about getting your guys open and trying to figure out ways to get the ball in your playmaker's hand, that's a coaching thing, and they got to figure that out. But kudos to OKC because they are clamping him down.
Yeah. Sometimes we overlook the defensive side of the basketball. And OKC, you think about even in the last game against Denver, how they said we're going to put Caruso and Jokic and make him work and shoot over the top and then come from the weak side and block shot. Their schemes defensively have been great. So I don't want to discredit OKC and what they're doing defensively. You think about them. They got one of the guys that Shea Gilgeous leads league in steals. You got Caruso, you got Hartenstein, you got the Jays. They are playing really good defense. I know sometimes we get caught up in watching the offense and watching the threes, and I would love to see how many threes OKC shoots because I don't think they shoot a lot of threes. And I think it's just, getting to the basket, taking up the opportunity. I know Williams sometimes when he gets hot, he's shooting it from three. But you think about Shea Gilgeous, he's not one of those guys that lives and dies by the three like all these other, like Luka, like, Ant-Man, and all these guys now, Tatum, Brown, they living by the three. But this guy, he's getting buckets where opportunities arise. And so I think that's what I like best about him. He gets buckets where buckets are able to be got.
I liked his quote this week, speaking of Shea, where he's like, I enjoy being the villain on the road. Go ahead, man. Like, I like going into other people's buildings and shutting them up. It's fun for me. And I think that's the attitude of a guy who's that's the right attitude, man. That's the guy you want on the floor leading your team when you're on the road in a hostile environment, the place is loud, and you're like, oh, this is great. We got to feed off this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And speak to that too, Rob. You've played in tons of conference finals. You've played in so many NBA finals. Feeding off that opposing energy, does that get you guys going?
Oh, hell yeah. You think about all the opportunities to go in there and tell the crowd to give them the finger without really giving them the finger, especially in those hostile crowds, like New York, Sacramento, Indiana. People don't realize Indiana's a hostile crowd because they love basketball. They know it. And Vernon's favorite place to play, Utah. And for me, my favorite places used to play is Phoenix. All these places were great to play in because they love basketball and they like to make it hostile. And there's nothing, it gives you more energy when people are yelling and screaming your name. It's just fuel to your fire. And right now, it's like everybody hates everybody when you get to the Eastern Conference Final because everybody know they're one step away. Right. They're 4 games away if they can go that next step. So this has been enjoyable to watch, even though I don't like, I wanted it to go 7, all these series because they've been great games, but they look like we're going to get 7 out of neither one of them.
I would be stunned if either of these go 7, the way they're playing.
Geez. And the crazy part about it is like, it's not, you look at the Eastern Conference Finals, even though that's 3-1, that's a hard fought 3-1.
Yeah, that's been a scrap 3-1. There hasn't been a blowout in this one.
Yeah,
they've all come down to the last seconds. Game 1 went to overtime. They're 4, 5, 6-point wins.
Even with New York coming back from 20 down.
Yeah.
To win Game 3.
Game 3, yeah.
Which is they've come back 3 times from 20 to get wins in the playoffs so far.
Yeah. So I got all the numbers on that. Yeah.
You can never count them out, regardless of how much they're down. But it's been a hard fall. It's been a grind in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So even though it's 3-1, it's like, bro, this is a hard. This ain't easy.
It could easily be a 2-2. It could easily be a 3-1 the other way too.
Could be.
Yeah. For me, we were talking about the Eastern Conference. When I'm watching this game, I'm like, if I'm a coach, and if I'm like at the end of the season, the first thing I'm doing, I'm going to Cat. I'm like, yo, man, we got to change your body up. you are too heavy up top. You get tired too quick, and we need to control your movements. And what I mean by that is he has a lot of extra movements like he don't really need that gets him in foul trouble offensively because he gets offensive fouls. And then it causes him to waste energy. It's about efficiency of movement when you come to basketball. If you watch him, he's so fucking wild when he plays that it wears him out. And so someone needs to take him and say, yo, we gonna cut this movement out, and we're gonna be more direct, more streamlined.
Right.
And streamlining his body size, streamlining his game, because the dude can fucking play. And we gotta tell Brunson, yo, man, you fucking Luka 2.0. You Allen Iverson 2.0. You got to learn how to step back and let someone else put in some work. And for me, that when I look at that team, because they got a good team, but the offense sucks, and they just don't know how to share the basketball like Indiana's doing. Indiana's showing you what a true team does. Think about it. Each and every night, they got a different leading scorer.
Yeah.
That damn Haliburton is sharing the basketball. You know, Siakam, think about it. Siakam can score anytime he wants on the post. But he's like, hey, everybody eating, so we can win, and I'm happy.
He said that post game last night. He's after last night's post game. They're like, do you want more opportunities? He's like, I don't care. We're winning. Who cares?
It's a team game. That's the perfect team game. You know, so it's remarkable how Indiana is playing right now. And on the defensive end, they're fucking locking everybody up.
Yeah. It's amazing to see them function on both ends of the floor. And like you said, Rick Carlisle, they are taking on the philosophy and the image of their coach and the way that they play on both ends of the floor. And I know we'll probably get into this next topic, but my goodness, Haliburton.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second. Yeah, he's been.
He was disappointed in himself in Game 3 because I think he only put up 20. He didn't play well. He thought he was very inconsistent, and then to come back, obviously in Game 4, and to not only have a great game, but to have a historical game. No turnovers with 32 points, 15
turned the ball over once,
assists, 12 rebounds, and no turnovers. That's never been done. Ever since they've been calculating what turnovers were back in the 70s, or they started that. So that to be able to have that many assists and to be that productive and not turn the ball over, that's what you want out of a point guard. People always look at the assist, but every turnover negates every assist. So he had 10 assists, but he had 8 turnovers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really he only had 2 assists because I have to cancel out each assist with each turnover. Mm-hmm. So you don't assists are great, but how many times did you take care of the church's money? Like they say, did you take care of the church's money, or did you give it away to everybody and everybody else eating but y'all? Yeah. So you got to look at those turnovers, and the fact that you can have 15 assists and no turnovers. Hey man, salute to you. That's the way you win basketball games, and that's the way you control your offense.
And play that many minutes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He had 29 and 9 at halftime.
Yeah, he was balling at halftime.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, we're on it. So let's have the conversation. Obviously, this was the year he got voted the most overrated player by every other player in the NBA.
Right.
Whether or not he put that in his pocket and saved it and took it to the postseason with him, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's elevated himself to a superstar in this postseason?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Because here's the thing about superstardom. Mm-hmm. You got to be consistent in the regular season. Now, I know names are made in the playoffs, but if you look at every superstar in the league today, they're a superstar in the regular season too. And there has to be some level of consistency. Like, I think we throw that word around. Like, you guys who are stars, I think he's a star. He's a name.
Yeah, he's a star.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's a reason there ain't but a handful of superstars. And guys keep that title for a very long time because it's what they've done. I don't think he's still young. I don't think he's done enough to qualify himself as a superstar. Absolutely not. But he's on his way.
He's on his way. I think for me, you could just, I don't know him personally, but it just seems like he enjoys the game so much that sometimes he goes into a game not with the killer instinct. You know what I mean? And that's not a dig at him. There's a lot of guys who enjoy playing the game a lot, but you got to enjoy the game playing a lot and then want to kill too. Like Kobe, he enjoyed the game, but he wanted to kill too. I think Haliburton, I love the way he plays with a smile on his face and with a lot of, but he has developed that killer instinct where, yo, I'm going at you tonight, each and every night. And for me, I think that's the one aspect of his game that's missing. And I think a lot of times when you go to talking about guys are overrated, you look at their game. Halliburton's game is fucking ugly, but it's efficient. His shot is ugly, but it goes in. And so sometimes we want to look at the beauty of the game. We want to look at the beauty, like you look at Steph's jump shot, it's so pretty. You look at, Devin Booker, the way he moves and his pull-up range is so pretty. All these things we say, oh, it's just picture perfect. Ain't nothing picture perfect about Halliburton's game. It's awkward. He's skinny. He smiles a lot, and he plays it with the Indiana Pacers when nobody cares about the Pacers since Reggie Miller was there. And so I think that was what happens because he's in a small market and he doesn't have the killer instinct. But if he developed that killer instinct and he goes out and win a championship this year, and next year he will step into that superstar status.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is about, and I'll tell you what, if you would have given me a vote on most overrated player, he probably would have been on my list because I was sleeping on Haliburton. Coming off the Olympics, he didn't do much of anything in the Olympics, and I suppose the narrative about him was that he didn't get any opportunity, he didn't play that much because they didn't really want him in there. And I would have been like, yeah, okay, I see it. Like when I saw his name at the top of that list, I was like, I get it. And I'll tell you what, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and go, yeah, no, I was probably pretty wrong about that. Because watching him this postseason has been like I've got a new respect for his game now. I really do. Like, and not that I had any disrespect for him, but like you said, he's playing in Indiana. I really didn't give half a shit about the Pacers. I didn't watch a lot of Indiana basketball this year, and as such, I didn't want to watch a ton of Haliburton stuff. And now watching him have the postseason he's having and the moments he's having, like the game one moment with the shot that went off and hit the back of the rim, shot straight up in the air and fell. That was one of those, and then he throws the choke sign up. Like, that was like, oh man, he's owning this. He's having too much fun. And he's found a way to scrap that team back in when they've been down. And he's had his moments where he's really stood out. I think more people, I don't think he's superstar, I'm with you guys, but I think there's more people that know Tyrese Haliburton now than probably ever did the last several years.
Absolutely.
I feel like he is.
The playoffs will do that to you.
He is. It's right. I mean, that's where they make the names, right? Like you said.
And I can attest to that. So shit, the playoffs is where you step up. How do you perform when the lights are bright? Yeah. At the brightest, I should say, because you think about the regular season. You can cruise through that. But that's like you said, the superstars, they kill in the regular season.
Yeah, he has to make his name also in the regular season because now what these playoffs have done for him is that he's been put on the radar of people who may have casually known him, but have never seen him take his game to this level. Obviously, like you said.
Me.
Right. More eyes are now on you when you're in the playoffs. Now what this does for him is that when you go into next season, and obviously he's not done because, hell, he can take his name to a whole nother level into the finals. Now what it does is that regardless of how all this ends, you can now take yourself into the next season, and now more eyes are on you from that previous season to see, okay, let's see how he consistently elevates his team in the regular season. Can they not be, what seed were they this year, 6?
5.
No, they
5?
Yeah.
Okay,
5.
They're like, okay, well, with this team, can he push them into the top 3? Because Jason Tatum's hurt. You don't know when he's coming back. You don't know if Cleveland
back next season.
Right. You don't think Cleveland can replicate another 60-win season. We don't know that. No one came into the season thought Cleveland would win 60 games this season. So could the Pacers catapult themselves into a top 2 seed? Can he be the guy to help get them to that top 2 seed? Yeah, your name is known, but can you not only now elevate your game, but now elevate your franchise into the top of the Eastern Conference?
But here's the funny part about it. The Pacers were 50-32. The Knicks was 51-31.
So they were pretty much the same team.
They're pretty much the same.
Season.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's the market.
Yeah.
I mean, Indianapolis is a great market. Like you said, they love their basketball in Indiana.
It's just a small
Holy
market.
cow. It's just not New York.
Just not New York.
Yeah.
Not Los Angeles.
Nope.
It's not a knock on the market. It's just It is what it is.
But just, also when you look at teams, you always say you go down the list like, let's line up your top 7, 8 guys. And if you line up the top 7, 8 guys for Indiana and the Knicks, Indiana's top 7 guys are better than the Knicks. If you look at it, you think about it, you go that one after you go. If you take the Knicks and you take their top 3 players, who is what? Let's say who's their third top player?
For the Knicks?
Yeah.
As far as like for performance, like
OG?
asking.
Was it Bridges or OG?
OG Bridges. I would say either OG or Bridges.
By trade
This
standpoint,
series?
it's supposed to be Bridges.
Yeah, but this
Okay.
series it's been OG.
Yeah, it's been OG.
All right, now you just take OG. Now you take now you say, okay, you take the top 2 for Indiana. Let's say Haliburton and Siakam.
Okay.
But you think about Nimhart.
Miles
you
Turner.
think about Miles Turner. They're better than the rest of the Knicks team.
Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're stepping up to. And
They have.
And so it's like, okay, and now you got Thibodeau. Thibodeau is so fucking strung out. He playing 12 fucking guys. He don't know what to fucking do over there. Like, oh shit, who do I play? I'm play McBride. Oh, I'm playing Cameron Payne. Oh, no, I'm not playing Cameron Payne. Oh, I'm playing Landry Shamet, who ain't played all fucking year.
Yeah.
It goes to show you that the Knicks, to me, throughout the year, should have been like, yo, we got to play more guys. I don't care how I feel about you, Shamet. Landry, I got to play you because Landry Shamet can shoot the fucking ball.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to play. Cameron Payne, much as people hate his ugly ass game, it's like a Haliburton game. He can give you minutes. Think about it. He saved you in a couple of games, and now he can't fucking touch the floor.
Yeah.
There's so much inconsistent. I love Thibodeau. I love the way he concentrates on defense and he has an attention to detail. But he's done his team a disservice by not playing them throughout the season. So not the fact that the guys can get a rhythm, it's that the team can get a rhythm. Okay, Jalen Brunson, I'm gonna sit back and let Hart do his thing. I'm gonna let Payne do his thing. But now he hasn't got that where all these guys are like scratching their head like, oh shit, I never played with this guy. What the fuck do I do with you?
Yeah.
What do you do? It's so inconsistent as far as Indiana. All year he's been playing 8, 9, 10 guys. And so
Yeah. I get you. And I mean, to Tibbs, to the point where we talked about this 100 times, he's beaten up his starters so much that when all of a sudden that starting group isn't doing what you need them to do, now he's just he feels like he's grasping at straws. Yeah. Like he feels like he's like, okay, maybe there's an answer over here. Maybe, and he hasn't had to go, to your point, he hasn't had to go into those pockets before. And now he's digging around going, hold up, maybe I got a quarter in here somewhere. Hold on. You know what I mean? Like he's digging. And, if you don't have and they got knocked for this all year. For the minutes those starters played. That was the one big knock on the Knicks this year was like he's running these starters to death. And now guess what's happening? They're getting tired. They're getting burned. They look burned. Yeah. They look like they are just exhausted.
You should see the point in the game. Carl, at the time, I was coming down the floor. Jalen Brown like, go down. Like, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm tired.
You go, man.
It was the funniest shit ever. I'm like, do you realize this is the playoffs, fool?
It's the Eastern Conference Finals. What are you doing? Yeah.
Bronson was like, go. He's like, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
You said that, though, to me last week when I was like, I got all big and bold and said the Knicks are going to win this whole thing. You said to me, you're like, no, because they're going to get tired. Yeah. Those guys are going to wear out. They're going to hit the wall sooner or later, and it's coming. And every time I watch the Knicks get a little bit of a lead or fight back in a game, Indiana manages to kind of kick it back up 5-6 points ahead, 10 points ahead, 8 points ahead. And then the Knicks have to continually scrap back. And those guys just look like they're tired of scrapping back.
But it's so weird. I picked Pacers in Minnesota, but I'm thinking about it. It's, as far as like basketball and watching basketball, if we get a finals of Indiana and OKC, two teams that can play fast, can play slow, can do whatever. It's like, I sat down like, damn, this is going to be good basketball because these teams can adjust to whatever way you want to play. You want to go fast, we can go fast. Even though both teams prefer to play fast, if you need to slow it down, they can slow it down. So it's going to be a really good matchup. If you, like I said earlier, you take guys, you go 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3. It's fucking pretty much even when you match everything up when it comes to these two teams.
I think you're right from a basketball standpoint, but boy, the NBA probably looking at this from a rating standpoint and saying, "Good God,
They're going to need it. They're going to need it to be good basketball.
Yeah.
Which
They're
it will
gonna need
be.
it.
It will
right,
be.
but they're going to, and to your point about being smaller markets and stuff, they're going to need it. Like, they're going to need the storylines to be like, one of these games goes to double overtime in a slugfest. Early, you know.
It's going to be I'd be surprised. I'm not saying that the ratings can't be good because OKC has been a really good basketball team, but man, just from a market
Oklahoma
standpoint,
and Indiana, what are we doing?
Jesus, boy.
What are we doing? You got the Midwest on lock, but the East Coast and the West Coast are like, I don't give a shit.
Hey,
They're all Mike Malone. They're all Mike Malone out of nowhere, man.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
It's rough.
All right, let me give you the NBA note of the week. And then we got a couple other topics we're going to get to. And we're going to play Walmart or Waffle House this week, and I have a good reason.
Yay!
I have a good reason why. All right, here's my note of the week. If we are, to everybody's point here, if we are headed to an OKC-Indiana Finals, which it looks like we're going to, you're going to have both teams being built on the back of trading away Paul George.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Pacers traded Paul George to OKC for Oladipo and Sabonis. Sabonis developed as a player. They traded him for Tyrese Haliburton. The Thunder, meanwhile, traded Paul George for SGA and 7 picks and swaps, one of which turned into Jalen Williams. So there you go. Paul George built the backs of both of these teams by being traded away. So Philadelphia, it's your move.
Can I? It's so crazy that if either one of these teams enter into the finals, that I think whoever wins the title, send Paul George a ring as a thank you.
like a courtesy ring?
Because
we appreciate you.
There have not been, it seems as though teams are just being built. It's so, the irony that he's been able to build other teams by being traded, but somehow, some way,
any of them.
he can't be on any of them. His best bet when he was in Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just couldn't get past LeBron.
No.
It's just, I'm like, well, dang, somebody send the man a sympathy ring or something.
No, he don't
it
need
ain't
no
got to be as
sympathy
gaudy
ring. Come
as the
on now.
NBA Finals rings, but send them a little thank you. Send them a thank you of some sort. I know that sounds rough, and I know that sounds very
Callous.
Yeah. Any other adjectives that you want to use to kind of describe this?
Dickish. I don't know. I don't know.
That too. But when you start I looked at that the other day. I said, dang.
Yeah.
All of them draft picks, Shea, and look at what all of these, a lot of these draft picks have turned into.
All this stuff, yeah.
I'm like, bro, you
all built on the back of Paul George.
bro, you have fed nations. Like,
No, but it also goes to show you that, you got to trust the process. I know it didn't work out for the Sixers. It's about getting draft picks and not just drafting the best player, drafting players that will fit in the system. And then on top of that, getting a coach that can come in there and say, hey, this is how we're going to run this. This is how we're going to play this game.
Right.
And then also, let's credit the players, too, for saying, okay, this is the pecking order.
right.
Go right ahead. We're not going to have any jealousy. We're not going to be up in. That's the one thing. If you can watch every game. And when a guy takes a bad shot, you can always look at the body language of someone, be like, oh, that was a fucked up shot. Oh, the coach, that was a fucked up shot. Even though they show, every time a bad shot, they show Thibodeau, you can see him like, motherfucker. But if you watch OKC, they like, dude, that's all right. Shoot it again. That's a lot of love in that locker room, man. You love to play on a team like that. And so that's the one thing. They always talk about the togetherness, even though they get a little silly with all the interviews when everybody come in and do the interview.
And start dropping towels on everybody.
But that's
and all that.
the brotherhood. And you got to love the love that they
I love
have.
that, though. I don't mind just like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, and this is kind of true for both Indiana and OKC, that, and to the Paul George note, you're showing that these are teams that are not afraid to part ways with high-priced players who are supposed to be like franchise players and start with a young core, acquire a lot of picks, and build and develop young guys and draft guys and give guys time to develop. And both of these teams are looking like they're going to hit the NBA Finals on the backs of that mentality, which I think is great for the NBA and healthy for the NBA because you got a lot of young, rising stars on both these teams that are going to get a chance to play on the biggest stage in pro basketball.
Yeah.
I think with OKC, they're so far ahead of schedule. You think about it. When you got a team, you think about the OKC before this OKC was Kevin Durant, and that whole crew, Westbrook and Harden. It's like, okay, they were building. They got to the finals. but they want to do things outside of basketball that didn't allow them to win. And then it's, oh shit, we didn't win it.
Boy,
It
it started with Harden wanted to get paid as a starter, but he was coming off the bench, and they didn't want to pay him. Well, at that time, $30+ billion is what it was to get paid as a starter. And they were like, well, we can't pay you that and pay KD and pay Russ.
Was the dumbest mistake they ever made. They would have had a championship before this, I think.
Hey, man.
Well, I would like to see them have a shot at one with the core they got, though. I mean, again, just based on what we just talked about, youth, build young guys, build confidence, build a brotherhood, and see where it takes you.
Yep.
What did OKC get for trading away Durant?
I don't. Did he trade or did he just sign free agent? Was that a free agency move?
I think that was a free agent.
Because he chose to leave. I think he had an option. He turned down his option. He went free agent. And he went to Golden State.
He went to Golden State.
I don't think they traded him.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm like, so they.
We
lost
may want
out
to check
on
that because I'm kind of talking out of my ass, but I don't think that. I think that was a free agent thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we got a few other things to get to. I want to, like I said, we got Walmart and Waffle House coming up. I wanted to briefly mention WNBA, just because all these predictions pop up this week that the WNBA is going to make about $1 billion this season. This is according to valuations and all these people that are looking at it saying, okay, they could make about $875 million this season in revenue if they continue to grow. Overall merchandise from Fanatics is up 500%. Merchandise sales from Dick's Sporting Goods up 233%. The Fever's net value since they drafted Caitlin Clark went from $90 million to $340 million. Average price of games jumped 140% if the Fever play on the road. Overall WNBA attendance has grown by 50%.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of good things happening for them right now.
If I own the Fever, I'm selling that team right now.
Right now.
Right now.
I don't know.
I think that she's going to be, if she can, and I think, we there's a lot of incredible women that play in this league. She's been the one, though, that seems to be drawing the most attention.
Well, yeah.
So if she continues to do that, then no, you ride it out if you're the Fever. Who knows what you could be worth in 3-4 years.
But here's the thing, and knock on wood that this doesn't happen, women have a tendency to get hurt more. Because of the way their body is made, they have a tendency to get hurt. And it's just, you can look it up.
Caitlin hurt right now.
Yeah, and so my whole point is, I'm selling the team right now.
Okay, so you're just,
it's a business thing. Not that I don't.
Cashing in the check while he's got it. I got you. Okay.
Well, I'll say
but I hope she gets healthy fast because I love watching not just her but the whole WNBA play. I have fun watching these teams, man.
Yeah, look, this is the way you allow things to grow. You have, even though I'm tired of the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese stuff, the back and forth, all that type of stuff. It gets tiring. But to see the competitive nature, to see the personalities on and off the floor, all of that combined is how you grow the league. These storylines and how they lined up with the NBA. I've always called Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and how they've both of them have come into this league and helped catapult it. Yes, there were stars already here. We know Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. And there were stars in the NBA before Magic and Bird got there. But when they got there, bringing their rivalry from college to the league, it catapulted it. And it's kind of the same way with the WNBA now. And then you throw in all the other, talented women. Nafisha Collier.
Nafisha Collier might have something to say about the whole best player in the league right now.
So many other women.
Stewie.
And Stewie. It's a whole list we can go down.
Stewart, yep. No, you got a lot.
And like I said, and I think this is very unfortunate because she's ready now, but she's hurt, she's healing. In another 3 years, baby Jordan coming. And yes, I've already labeled her that. Yes.
Baby Jordan.
And that's going, and you think the WNBA is great now. Wait till she get there. Oh, just wait.
Yeah, I hope they continue to grow this league, but
just wait. And don't let her land here in Atlanta. Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Oh, Lord. Don't let her land here in Atlanta.
No, we got our hands full anyway.
Every game, that College Park Arena, they're going to figure out how they bring almost half their games over to State Farm because that's where they're going to have to be played. That college, Rob, you don't know this, but obviously the Dream play They play on the south side of Atlanta in College Park at the I forget what they call it, just the College Park Arena down there.
Yeah.
And it holds
Is that
about
where the Skyhawks play?
yes.
Okay.
They hold about 5,000 to 6,000. Small arena. But obviously when Caitlin Clark comes to town, obviously you sell more tickets, so now you got to play the State Farm. Just imagine somehow, some way, if Juju lands in Atlanta as a dream. Hey Hawks, move over. Matter of fact, if y'all gonna trade Trey, y'all gonna play down in College Park. Hey, y'all gonna play in College Park.
College Park.
Yeah, y'all can, and then y'all can put the dream in there, because guess what? Them tickets gonna move.
They're gonna move tickets. Yeah.
So, but that's just, and I'm proud of this league, because anybody who just loves to watch basketball, hey man, you like to watch hoops. It's all these teams are different. There are so many players in this league that bring such a variation of different games, different personalities, whatever. So this league is continuing to grow, and I salute them.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I'm happy for the WNBA. It's having this success, man. All right, look, I did want to briefly mention here Jaron Jackson Jr. Only because, my goodness, completed his 7th season in the league, missed All NBA. He had the second most votes behind Sengun of the players that didn't make All NBA. If he makes All NBA, he checks the final box. He's eligible for a Supermax, $350 million. Instead, he doesn't make All NBA. It drops his deal down to $150. He lost out on $200 million on a media vote for All NBA. And I hate that. Like, I don't know. Every part about it being the fact that it was a media vote kills me, because it's like the media, and I get it, like they don't have any vested interest. So it's like they're going to vote who they want to vote for. But there's so much bias and swing in the media that, someone might have just not voted him because they didn't have a good experience with him or something. Who knows what the reasons could have been. But the fact that he's going to lose $200 million based on that sucks, dude. That's a kick in the gut. Again, I don't know what there is to say about it except for the fact that it just sucks.
Yeah, that's.
But it's funny. You say I think we said I didn't make the All NBA team, but did he make the All Defensive team?
I think he did, didn't he?
I believe so.
I think he was All Defense and he was an All-Star.
I think he's okay after that, right?
No, he's got to check that.
He's got to be All NBA.
He's got to be All NBA. He's got to check that final box.
I think it might be. I don't know.
Maybe there's a qualifier somewhere or a loophole. I don't know.
Yeah, some kind of loophole where he can say, "Yo, man, I'm on the All Defensive team."
Yeah.
Shit, it ain't always all, because most of those guys on the All NBA team can't play no defense.
Yeah. I don't know if your logic's going to hold up in his contract, but I like it. I do like it. Skinny Luka. Did you see Skinny Luka?
No.
So Luka popped up at the Real Madrid game in Spain, looking noticeably slimmer.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, he looked like he had dropped a few lbs. He looked like he was in shape.
Seriously?
No, he did, dude. Throw a quick Google on it if you want.
Don't worry.
Look up Skinny Luka.
He'll be back to his regular size come training camp.
Well, so that was my question was, do you think somebody said something to him, or do you think he's just doing his due diligence in the offseason?
First of all, how long they been done playing?
A month? About a month.
Hey, that shit ain't changing that fast, so stop it.
Okay.
Trying to say he on Ozempic?
I ain't saying that. I'm just saying though.
Yeah. He's gonna be one of those commercials walking down the street while everyone's singing. The Ozempic commercials or that Wegovy.
I mean, look, it's good to see that he did drop some weight, but that does not. I don't think that plays into his conditioning. Like a lot of this was because he can drop the weight and still not be in shape. Mm-hmm. This is about him being in basketball shape. This is about him not always looking sluggish when he runs up and down the floor.
Well, dropping the lbs would help that.
I mean,
right?
it does, but at the same time, I got to see what type of condition he's in. Like, I got to see him move. And like I said, we won't know this until September, October.
True.
So Talk to me then.
Okay.
It's great.
Hey, I don't give a damn how big or small as the motherfucker need to learn how to play some defense.
Well, that
Shit,
too.
fuck all that other shit
That
y'all
too.
talking about.
That too.
I don't care how
People
big
always
you
want
are.
to talk about how big you are. The motherfucker, you getting beat by it. You getting blown by a defense. So I don't care shit how fat. Because you look how many guys out there that's not in quote unquote basketball so they can play defense. So, so let's be real. Everyone talk about the in shape part. Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
Move your fucking feet.
No, I agree with that too. I've said that before. I agree with it.
I want to briefly mention this, and then we'll get to Big Shot of the Week, and then we will play Walmart or Waffle House. The Tush Push remains. The NFL needed 24 votes to ban the Tush Push. It only got 22. Actually, it's less than that. There are 10 teams that voted against the Tush Push.
Right.
Okay, here are the teams that did not. Obviously, the Eagles. And then other teams that voted against it: the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Saints, the Jets, and the Titans. A lot of those teams were not very good this year. So I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it, but they were all like, no, it's fine, just leave it. All the teams that were like right there on the cusp were like, no, got to ban it, because they just didn't know how to stop it.
Yeah.
I would love to see, they always talk about the reason they wanted to ban it because guys get hurt on that, but I would love to see the ratio or how many guys actually get hurt from it. You know what I mean?
Well, that also, and a lot of teams are saying that it's not. The reason they want to ban it is because they said it's not a football play. They say that what they say is,
well, yeah, but
because you can't. They're saying when you can't assist a guy, you can't push a guy forward. Like, it's one thing if he was using his own momentum, but the fact that you're able to assist or even push a guy, some people are saying that's an illegal play. Here's my thing.
Scratch my head on that. And I'll tell you why.
That's why a lot of guys. That's why a lot of teams are voting on it. They're saying it's not a football play. And that's really the main reason. Now, here's the thing. If you can't beat them, join them. One thing.
A lot of teams have tried and can't do it.
Well, because I don't ever remember seeing teams try it, or at least teams who had the personnel to do it, try it against the Eagles. The Eagles are the only one thriving in this
Chiefs
thing.
Try it? Fail?
I don't know. Did they?
Chiefs tried it a couple times.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen enough teams try to figure out how they can acquire the personnel to use it in their favor. If it's not going to be banned, okay, cool. How can we find out a way to use this in our favor? How can we acquire the personnel to be able to use this? Because while you're sitting there complaining, the Eagles are going to continue to use it, and they're going to continue to be successful at it. So figure out a way in which you can acquire the personnel, or look at your personnel to see, okay, this is how we're going to use it, and see how we can be successful in this thing too. Because if this is going to stay, use it.
It's funny when people tell me it's an illegal play. You remember how, like, all of a sudden you hit a slant or a pass, and all of a sudden the guy's running, and all of a sudden everybody's like holding up. Next thing, here comes some more people pushing, and then you go forward more. Isn't that pretty much the same fucking thing? You think about it. You're helping your teammate go forward. And so
forward progress. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, forward progress. Like, think about how many times a guy's running the ball and he hit and he's kind of like still moving his feet.
Everybody piles in and they just push
pushing forward. I'm like, it's the same shit.
Yeah, so, it's a lot of confusion when it comes to
it's a lot of confusion. I know people at home saying, see, this is coming up from a basketball player. But I'm just saying, though, it's on the same thing at my level. Like, motherfucker, get you some big ass horses in there, line them up, and stop the shit.
Yeah. Direct snap to the fullback and let him just push it right up the middle. Because everybody's like, Jalen Hurts can do that. Well, yeah, sure he can. All right, then direct snap to your fullback.
And not just
let him
stop
run
it.
his ass up the middle.
Use it.
Think about that Derrick Henry in that position. Put Derrick Henry right there.
Yeah, let him truck up the middle on somebody. Good. Go ahead and stop his ass.
Well, the point is,
Fridge at when you need him. How about they push Tush Fridge?
You couldn't tush push no Fridge, man. No, what are you talking about?
Well, first off, he didn't need the tush push.
No.
He is the tush push.
He is the tush push.
Yeah, he don't need it.
Yeah.
He is it.
All right, let's do Big Shot of the Week and then Walmart or Waffle House. Big Shot of the Week is going to go to Whale Al-Sui. He is the co-owner of Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery in Staten Island, New York. Here is why. He says students that earn an average of 80 to 90% bring their report cards into him, and he awards them with whatever they want from the store. If you get 70 to 80%, you can take home $10 worth of items. Students with lower grades who show improvement also get free stuff. The same go for kids with perfect attendance. So if you bring this stuff to the store, he will award you. If a kid gets 90% or higher, he offers them their pick of goodies from the store, a $100 bill, and a T-shirt. And honestly, I think this is a really cool story because I saw the video this week of kids running up to his counter and like slapping their report cards down. Just like, boom. And he was like, good for you, high five. And they're running and they're grabbing candy and snacks and shit off the shelf and just, I mean, like, whatever it takes, especially in areas like Staten Island, whatever it takes to get those kids to do a little bit extra and take a little bit of investment in getting good grades, I think that's dope. So I'm just a big shot to this man for doing that because he doesn't have to do that. I think that was cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's dope.
I like that, man.
And this fact that, think about how.
Dude, I would have taken such advantage of that as a kid.
Me too. How was that was one thing, I never missed school unless I was like sick. So we had to go
Oh,
to school
you were like a
regardless.
perfect attendance kid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, hell no.
Yep. I went to school. I love going to school, man.
Oh, I didn't dislike going to school, but if I had any
Oh.
excuse to stay home and watch The Price is Right, I was going to do it.
The only reason I went to school was for PE. I love going to PE. Like,
Well, yeah, because you're a big-ass son of a bitch. They go, Rob just wants to play basketball. All right. He wants
No, it
to
was
dunk
like-
on
it
a
was
little
soft-
white suburban kids like me.
No, it was softball.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like kickball. It was on the rainy days.
Kickball.
Suicide.
Were you a
dodgeball.
kickball beast? You had to be.
No.
No? Oh,
No,
wow.
not really. I wasn't that very good at kickball.
Yeah, I figured, man, you size and coordination, you'd have been the kid kicking it over the playground. And everyone go, all right, somebody go get that shit. Rob's playing. You know what I mean?
Nah.
All right.
I just I love playing suicide, man. That was my favorite thing to play.
What was suicide?
Well, we call it suicide. It's called
Yeah, yeah.
dodgeball.
Oh,
Where you line the
dodgeball.
balls
Okay,
up
yeah.
Yeah, line the balls up at half court, and you run, you pull them back, and then you just wail on somebody.
Yeah, everything's flying. Yeah, that's like you're in the freaking middle of a war. It's just like just
Hey, and the funny part, it was like all the black kids would be on one side, all the white kids would be on the other side, and you have that one white kid that's down with the black people. Yeah, you can be on our side today,
Oh,
boy.
Jesus.
It's about to be on.
I'm starting race wars in a dodgeball in Alabama.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. I
Dude.
wish we had film back in the day, man. It was like, you be like, oh, shit. And the coach was like, nah, we playing suicide today. The kid like, I got hit. No, you didn't. Get your ass back out
Get
there.
your ass back out there.
And we would always save it for that one dude we didn't like. Don't hit him. Save him for last.
Bro, yeah, because then everybody can get him at once.
And then we would save him. He'd be getting up to stay his ass in it too. It's like a fire squad. We all get the balls outside. Y'all ready? And I'd be that one kid, I ain't gonna lie, I'm going for his head. Because, if you hit someone in the head, you're
that's
out.
dirty.
I ain't give a shit.
That's dirty.
Wow, I'm out today.
Rob saved the headshot for the end. That's dirty, man. That is dirty.
Yeah.
That's dirty. Because I was usually the kid catching it off the side of the head. Just bang. Oh, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, listen, man. We got to get to it. Speaking of the dirty South, let's get off the topic of dodgeball lynchings. All right. My favorite story of the last couple of weeks has been this. The director of Tekken,
Used to love that game.
Katsuhiro Harada, has officially reached out to Waffle House to get them to add the Waffle House parking lot as an official fighting stage
That's
in the next
dope.
Tekken game. So if Waffle House... Now, here's the thing I love about it. People have been asking for it for years online. Now, if Waffle House shoots him down, he put something online, I think yesterday or the day before, that said, what if we call it Hustle House? And we just make it look like a Waffle House, but we call it Hustle House if they're not okay with us using the name.
I didn't know
And-
Tekken was still making games.
Yeah, Tekken's still making games. Yeah, so yeah, he's working on trying to get Waffle House as an official fighting stage in the next Tekken. Which I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played Tekken and I can't tell you how long.
Right.
I will run
me
my
too.
ass out and get Tekken, and I will make every battle on the Waffle House stage. Is all you can do. We only fight in the Waffle House parking lot in this game.
Hey, throwing waffles like spears.
Oh my
like
God,
stars.
yeah.
I mean stars.
Yeah. Grab the chef's cigarette, flick it at somebody, you know what I mean? Like, shit, like. So, I love that story. It made me giggle. So, of course, I had to bring us an episode of Walmart or Waffle House. You know how the game works? Has give you a dumbass story. You just got to tell me if it happened in a Walmart or a Waffle House. We'll start with story number 1. Stripper fight. 2 strippers were arrested outside of this location after getting into a fight over tips that they were supposed to split that evening. Cops were called to break up the fight. Arrests were made. Stripper fight at a Walmart or a Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that one was a pretty good setup for the first story of the game. That's very clearly a Waffle House.
For a second, I was confused, and my mind went to black crime or white crime.
Oh, yeah.
For a split second. So I had to bring myself back.
Black strippers or white strippers?
That can go almost either way, but I'm going to go black.
I'm going to go white.
They were both white. Good job, Rob.
Oh, wow. Okay.
White strippers in this story. Absolutely.
My bad.
All right, number 2.
Now, if you said I was a Waffle House in Atlanta, black strippers.
Lil Will might have been there. I don't know. Maybe. I was gonna say. All right. Look, fights are common at either location. Story number 2. But in this instance, it was an off-duty security guard, not a cop, but a security guard that decided he was going to flash a fake badge, break out a solid metal flashlight, and try and fight off a man who was attempting to rob this location. His attempt, unsuccessful. The man escaped. So, obviously, the off-duty pub lart didn't do a whole lot of damage here. But did the off-duty security guard, thinking he was a cop, breaking out his badge and his flashlight, fail to stop a man from robbing a Walmart or a Waffle House?
Walmart.
Waffle House.
The point 2, Robert Horry. That was a Waffle House. Yeah, that was a
The heck you robbing at a Waffle House?
I feel like it's a quick cash and grab. But,
it's easier to grab because think about it. You got a lot of, you go to a cash register in a Walmart, you got a lot of people to get through to get out the door.
Really?
When the last time you been in a Walmart?
A few days ago.
Oh, there's people all over that place.
Yeah, but the way they got them registers shut down everywhere, you ain't got that many folk to get through.
Man, think about
it. Ain't but one person standing at that door.
Well, and here's the other thing too, though. If you go to the Walmart, you can't rob nobody. It's all self-checkout. Like, who are you gonna rob?
I'm trying to figure out what are you robbing at a Waffle House?
It's the cash registers right there.
Okay, I get
right
it.
on the counter, man. Yeah. Smash and grab. Take that thing and
thinking
run.
this man trying to rob, he couldn't afford Waffle battles, so he went back there to try to take some. I'm gonna take some of these sausages, eggs, let me take some of that too.
Let's go. And by the way, if the off-duty security guard is not a fightable character in Tekken, then what are we even doing?
Exactly.
Add him to the game at this point. All right, sorry, but these days you can't smoke indoors pretty much anywhere. So when a woman was told by an employee, quote, "Hey, you can't smoke in here," it should not have sent this woman into a violent rage, but it did. She broke into a huge fist fight with the employee. Had to be broken up. Cops were called. Hey, you can't smoke here. Inside of a Walmart or a Waffle House?
Oh, that's a Walmart.
That's a Walmart.
Point for both of you. Yeah, it was a Walmart, which is...
But they smoke at Waffle Houses. They don't give a shit.
They don't care. You can't smoke in here. Stop me. You know, like, they don't give a shit.
That's Walmart.
The cooks smoke in Waffle House. I've seen that man flipping waffles with a cigarette in his mouth. All right, story number 4. I really, really, really hope it was Halloween during this story. But it is one of my favorite Waffle House stories, or Walmart or Waffle House stories I've seen in a long time. Police were called to this location to break up a fight involving several men dressed up like insane clown posse. They were fighting a second group of men dressed like the Los Angeles Lakers. So a bunch of dudes in Laker jerseys and Laker outfits fighting a bunch of guys dressed up like insane clown posse. There is no official word on how number 5 handled himself in said fight. So, insane clown posse versus the LA Lakers inside of a Walmart or a Waffle House.
That's a Waffle House.
I love that half of them are dressed like the Lakers. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's more Tekken right there, so I'm going Waffle House.
Okay.
That's... I don't know what word I can use to describe that. But yeah, I'm gonna go Waffle House as well.
Everybody's going Waffle House. Everyone's getting a point on that one. Yeah, I imagined him like thinking to myself when I see the story that they're dressed as the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm like, are they in full? Like, does he have the Kareem goggles and the shorts and like, what are we doing? What do you mean dressed as the Lakers? Or was it just a bunch of guys in Lakers jerseys?
I know that's on videotape somewhere.
Someone's got to have video of this. The Lakers
crazy.
fighting the insane clown posse, which is better be a level in the next Tekken game, for God's sake. All right, I'm exhausted most of the time. I could catch a nap pretty much anywhere. But police had to be called on this man who not only had fallen asleep at this location, but refused to be woken up by employees when asked to leave. Unfortunately, they had to call the police, who, yeah, they got his ass up and they got him out of there, but let him off without a warning. No arrests were made. Did the man fall asleep and refuse to wake up and leave at a Walmart or a Waffle House?
That's a Walmart, because I've seen plenty of people sleep in a Waffle House.
Yeah, that's a.
Well, I mean, I think that there's probably limits, though. You know what I mean? You've been there for a couple hours. It's probably like.
Yeah, but that's a Walmart.
All right, well, both of you are going to get a point on that one. Yeah, that was definitely a Walmart. Yeah. I feel like the camping section alone, people just decide, I'm going to move in here and live here.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to catch me a little nap here on the sleeping bag and be all good. All right, if you're trying to get away with theft, it's best not to leave your purses behind. 2 women took off in a frenzy to try and escape, accidentally leaving their purses behind during a theft at a Walmart or a Waffle House.
That's some trickery right there, but I'm still stay with my gut and go Walmart.
Okay.
I may take Walmart just to shake some stuff up a bit.
Waffle House.
Dang.
See,
Dine and Dash.
See what I said? There's some
Dine and
trickery
Dash
going
left
on.
their purses behind.
I said there's some trickery going on.
There's
That's
some
why
trickery.
I wanted to say Waffle House.
All right, last story. I love entrepreneurs in the parking lot. We've had these stories at both locations all over the place, especially after the police were called on this man who was harassing people in the parking lot of this location, trying to sell them snakes, iguanas, and bearded dragons.
Bearded dragon?
In the parking lot of a Walmart or a Waffle House. Man's got himself a little pop-up reptile store working out of a van in the parking lot.
They'll go Walmart.
Rob's going Walmart.
Dang, this could happen either way. Either
I know,
location.
right?
Watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna go Walmart.
Everybody's going Walmart. Everybody's going to get a point. Yeah, that was outside of a Walmart.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like you got more room to sell.
You do
more
definitely have
customers.
more room.
Yeah, you got more room, but like, here's my thing. Okay, you're selling snakes. You get snakes pretty much anywhere. Where the hell is this man getting iguanas from? Did this happen? I got to check to see if the story was at like a Florida Walmart or something.
Probably.
Because,
I know,
like,
right?
Well, and by the way, if you're in Florida, you don't need to buy an iguana.
Find them on the side of the
They're
road.
everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Like they are little dinosaurs.
They're
and they are all
an
over the place.
invasive species.
They are the most disgusting species of reptile I could even know.
But the snakes are invasive as well when you start talking about the pythons and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, man, it's like people let them loose in the Everglades, and those things are a big
Yeah.
problem out in Florida, the
Yeah.
pythons. But man, have you ever seen the iguanas in Florida, Rob?
Yes.
Dude, they are everywhere.
They're scary, too.
So they
'cause
used
you
to get
just-
up in the trees behind our house, and we had like a little river behind our house, and they would jump out of the trees into the water.
Yeah.
And it sounded like kids jumping off the edge of a dock.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what the hell's going on? The freaking iguanas are out there.
That's one of those places, like Florida is one of those places, especially if you're South Florida. If you have a pet, if you got like a small dog,
Oh,
if your dog ever go missing, just assume that it got eaten by something.
it got eaten by a gator.
It got eaten by a gator, a snake, something. Like, it's not a good place to probably have a dog, especially a small dog. Like, because now you wondering, well, dang, well, I ain't heard the dog in a minute. Yeah, it's chow time. Gator done had it for a nice little appetizer before you go after the real meal.
Brandon, where you going with your yippy dog? I'm taking him for a walk. Just taking him for a walk. Walking him outside.
I'm gonna let him. No, I ain't walking him. I'm gonna walk him. You know what? You want the water? I'll take you right over here to the edge. Have fun.
Go ahead, take yourself a swim there.
When I don't hear you no more, I know exactly what happened.